Botanical Garden, a National Historic Landmark and one of the foremost gardens in the world. Since its creation in 1891, this remarkable place has been an oasis of beauty and learning for generations of visitors. The Botanical Garden, which encompasses 250 acres, includes more than 1 million living plants.
In a few moments, on Side B, you'll see the colorful entrance to the Everett Children's Adventure Garden. Take your kids to this exciting indoor-outdoor museum where they can discover, explore, and experience nature. On Side A, the new Native Plant Garden, a project of the Leon Levy Foundation, is a sustainable garden designed to flourish in every season and includes shaded woodlands, open meadows, and lush wetlands bursting with native trees, shrubs, ferns, grasses, and wildflowers. The plants in this garden were selected with the goal of providing food and habitat to birds, butterflies, and other wildlife. The path on Side B is the Mitsubishi Wild Wetland Trail. It borders a swamp containing trees, shrubs, and grasses that flourish in cool, wet ground. Frogs, turtles, and songbirds thrive there among willows, alders, and bald cypress. You might have noticed the dramatic rock outcroppings on either side of the tram. These natural formations are 500 million years old and are present throughout the garden.
As we approach the stop, on Side B, you'll see the 11-acre azalea garden with nearly 1 mile of meandering woodland paths.
The azalea garden on Side B features a diverse collection of nearly 3,000 North American, Asian, and European azaleas and rhododendrons. While the crescendo of pink, white, and lavender flowers is at its peak in May, broad sweeps of beautiful woodland wildflowers provide color for much of the year.
Including the 50-acre Thame family forest you see on Side A, the New York Botanical Garden is home to 30,000 trees. Supported by a special fund for trees, garden horticulturists keep these trees healthy in the face of stresses ranging from air pollution to severe storms like Sandy, which destroyed nearly 300 trees across the landscape in October 2012. You can see evidence of Sandy's destruction here on Side A, where uprooted trees have been allowed to remain where they fell. Part of the garden's strategy of allowing fallen trees in the native forest to decompose and be recycled into the soil. The garden is a museum of plants and a world-renowned center for plant research, conservation, and education. It's where plants and people come together, from adults searching for inspiration for their own gardens, to kids discovering how seeds, sun, water, and a little nurturing can create something truly wonderful.
As we turn, look up the road on Side B. The grove of small trees on the slope is the garden's crabapple collection, including over 90 varieties. The trees flower abundantly in late April. Also on Side B, in the grassy triangle, there stands an enormous black oak. It's nearly 200 years old.
As the tram stops on the bridge, look out on Side A. On the riverbank, you can see the Lillian and Amy Goldman Stone Mill. Built in 1840, it's a National Historic Landmark and a New York City landmark. The Lorillard family, who once owned the land which the garden now occupies, made their fortune in the tobacco industry. This mill was used to create snuff, a popular alternative to smoking tobacco.
We have just crossed the Bronx River. Before the arrival of European settlers, the Bronx River provided food and water for the Lenape people. The river was also a vital economic resource for colonial Americans. By the mid-1700s, its steady flow was furnishing hydropower to 12 mills.
We are now entering one of the most spectacular collections of rare and unusual garden conifers in America, the Benenson ornamental conifers. From 2000 to 2004, The garden completely restored this picturesque 15-acre site and added more than 250 new conifers to the collection. Whether surrounded by the vibrant greens of spring and summer, the earth tones of autumn, or shrouded in winter snow, this collection's unique beauty is stunning throughout the year.
Immediately after the stone and cedar pavilions, look on side A for a cluster of big, unusual-looking trees. They are weeping giant sequoias, and in 60 years, they could be over 90 feet tall. In this same area are low, spreading evergreens called Sargent's weeping hemlocks. While it's rare to see weeping giant sequoias in the New York area, Sargent's weeping hemlocks are actually native to New York and were first found growing nearby in Beacon.
Next, on side A, watch for a distinctive tree with many long branchlets hanging straight down from the main branches. That's a snake branch spruce. Directly opposite on side B is a varied group of shade-loving dwarf conifers. These, along with a group of sun-loving conifers just ahead, contain an astonishing variety of small trees that take decades to grow only a few feet tall. They range from yew and hemlocks to pines, spruces, and firs. All are great plants for home gardens.
As we come around the bend, look to side A. There, standing on its own near the road, is a distinctive pyramid-shaped tree. It is the R.H. Montgomery spruce, named after the man who donated many of the rare conifers in this collection. All R.H. Montgomery dwarf blue Colorado spruces are descended from this one original plant.
In a few moments, on side B, you'll see a beautiful state-of-the-art glasshouse complex. These are the Nolan greenhouses for living collections. Here, the garden develops its living collections, propagates plants for exhibition, and grows plants under specialized conditions for study, research, and conservation. In 8 distinct growing zones, staff members cultivate alpine, desert, tropical, cloud forest, and temperate plants that are displayed throughout the garden. The garden grows and cares for over 1 million living plants. Seasonal exhibitions alone can require upwards of 13,000 plants, grown from seeds or cuttings. It's an enormous task, but the Nolan greenhouses make it possible. In this cutting-edge research facility, plants are also grown for scientific study. In its role as an international plant conservation rescue center, the garden nurtures thousands of rare and endangered plants. The greenhouses include the Burke Sullivan Display House, where you can view special exhibits and see how horticulturists grow the plants that populate much of the garden.
¿Quieres que te baje? Ya pues, ya vamos. Ya pues.
Papi, te carga ahí pues la orilla.
Ya. Ya no llores. Ya. Pero quédate quieta. ¿Sí? Vas a estar quieta, pero vamos para la casa.
No quiero ir a mi casa.
¿Y dónde quieres ir más? Ya, pues ya no llores.
As we exit the Benenson ornamental conifers, straight ahead is the Adam R. Rose and Peter R. McQuillan Horticultural Operations Center. This facility has received silver-level leadership in energy and environmental design certification. The stone cottage to the right of it once served as the gatehouse on the Laurelard estate. Beyond the rock outcroppings on side B is a wonderful planting of herbaceous and tree peonies that flower beautifully in May. That's the Haupt Peony collection.
On the same side and down a gentle slope is an ancient lake bed, now the award-winning Peggy Rockefeller Rose Garden. It's planted with nearly 4,000 roses in over 600